World-renowned performance poet Sonya Renee brought her dynamic and confronting style to Australia recently.
Let the cutest boy tag you in a place that if your mama knew about, she would whoop your little ass tag. If you decided to marry a one-woman show with a stand-up comedian with Shakespeare, that is performance poetry. It's an opportunity to take all of the different genres of performance art and create this explosion of whatever it is that you want it to be on stage. At which point you run up to some other unassuming young person and smack the shit out of them.
Sonya also competes in what's known as poetry slam competitions. These started back in the 80s in Chicago, and in the last few years they've been gaining popularity in Australia.
When a friend asked me, hey, do you want to be in this slam? I thought it was some violent act. I was like, wrestling? It's not my thing. And then she let me know that it was a competition. And so when I found this opportunity to do something that I already loved, which was write and perform, and then do it in a competition setup with other people, it just seemed like the perfect fit for my personality.
Poetry slam may also be the perfect fit in getting school students to embrace literature and the spoken word. While in Australia, Sonya hooked up with local performance poet Miles Merrill and introduced poetry slam to students at a Sydney suburban high school.
You don't have to have read, all of Rudyard Kipling's work in order to have an opinion about what poetry is.
The role that the Australian Poetry Slam plays in going out to schools is to get young people up and active with their own voice, whether it's poetry, monologues, raps, just vomiting onto the page with words. That's all you do.
There's been a recent push by the federal government to improve national literacy levels. In fact, a national test was introduced last year. This was prompted by research that showed between 1996 and 2006 there was an increase in the amount of 15 to 19-year-olds who had average or below average literacy levels. So how can things like performance poetry and poetry slams help?
I think the one thing that is missing in a lot of the education models is the encouragement for kids to study their own writing. They're given so many other authors and told these authors are amazing. These are the people that you have to listen to. But nobody's listening to them.
Don't know what to write. Mine's blank. Music comes to its last 20 seconds.
There was once a man named Milford. What other methods did students use to display their cake?
In a poetry slam, participants get 2 to 3 minutes to perform their own material. Music and props aren't allowed, and selected members of the audience decide who wins.
7, 9.5. We have a tie.
Who, having watched what Miles and I do, has a different opinion about what poetry can be now?
It's like not just Shakespeare, to be that. It was interesting.
I learned that poetry doesn't always have to be boring, like how I thought that it was.
I thought poetry was just about love and stuff. That's all we really learn at school, but now I've learned it's about a lot more.
It's different to what we usually do in English class, and so I really enjoyed it.
This poem is called Delighted. I love words. I've always loved words. I've loved that they can create and destroy at equal capacity. I find that it's easiest to write about what I'm passionate about. I think that that's where the best creativity comes from. And I'm passionate about social justice. I'm passionate about creating a world where everyone has the same opportunities to thrive and be successful. And now the sum of my subsistence has culminated here at the Galleria Mall, helping Ivana Trump's bastard sister, Ivana, stab your ass. If you're a construction worker in Chicago, or if you're a secondary school student in Campbelltown, you can still be actively engaged in words and what the possibility of words can create. The greatest gift you will ever receive is letting the universe teach you how to be delighted.